Greetings, everyone. Nikki Brown here, no matter where you are and no matter what part of the world you're in. I hope that you're having a good day. So, let's talk about what support looks like, right? From the perspective of an open minded person, support looks like accepting someone for who they are, the way that they are, without trying to change them, right? Even if you don't like it. Um, It's not trying to make them feel inferior. It's not trying to make yourself feel superior. It's not about titles. It's not about status. It's not about class. It's not about any of those things, right? Sometimes you do have to meet people where they are. But again, that doesn't mean you have to belittle them or look down on them or have them look up at you um, in the meantime. But let's just say, for example, someone has had low self-esteem all their lives, right? And we're now in this age where people are calling themselves queens, right? Although fundamentally I have an issue with that word because it means the king's whore, but I'm just going to say it for sake of example because I know that a lot of people are using that as a way to boost themselves up, right? So if someone now has the esteem within themselves, the confidence within themselves, to now call themselves a queen and put themselves on a pedestal and put themselves first, and this is their way of practicing self-love and being good to themselves, and you call yourself helping them or supporting and encouraging them, and you come and call them princess, right? That's not helping. And then if they say something to you about, and not to say that you even have to call them queen, but why would you belittle them or try to make them feel bad about calling themselves that, right? If you genuinely, you may not like it. You don't have to. It's not for you. It's for that person, especially if they've come a long way and they're on a particular journey to practice self-love and self-care. So now you've just come and tried to chop them down for having that confidence. Let's just say, for example, someone speaks politically correct British English, right? And then you come along and criticize them because they use ebonics, right? Or because they use double negatives, or because they speak in whatever slang or regional dialect, or because they don't choose to speak academic English, right? Or those people who try to spell check people online. From my perspective, if you understand what the person is saying, what difference does it make whether or not they say it politically correct, academically, or grammatically correct, or if they spell the word the wrong way, right? And I know that it can be challenging to ignore, right? But if you want to correct someone, you do it politely. You don't try to embarrass them, right? You just say, oh, that's not the way you spell there in that particular context. It's supposed to be spelled this way. So you would DM that person or pull that person aside and let them know about the correction so that going forward they hopefully won't make that same mistake. And then sometimes it's autocorrect doing it. Sometimes a person is thinking faster than they can type, and so they accidentally type the wrong word. And so it's like people don't take that into consideration. It doesn't mean that someone's stupid. And then, because that has happened to me where I'm typing faster than I can think, and then I go back and look like, oh, I used the wrong there, right? And then I correct it. But again, that does not mean somebody's stupid. That doesn't mean they're inferior to you. That does not mean you're superior to them. Right? You accept people for who they are, the way that they are, without trying to change them. Just like in the context of if someone says greetings or grand rising, if you don't like it, you don't have to say it. Right? But why would you try to stop them from saying what they want to say? You can still say your good morning. Although there's nothing good about morning. But because people don't understand the etymology of some words, and they think that because they're speaking grammatically correct, right, that their way of doing it is the right way. And this is one of the things that keeps us divided. And this was intentional. And so if you understand that, sometimes the pettiness that we decide to do won't exist. You know, teach one another, help one another, encourage and support one another. Stop judging and gossiping and being deceptive behind people's back. And then too, there's a lot of copycat energy. Do what you're good at. You will always win if you do what you're good at and stop trying to do what somebody else is doing because it's working for them and because they're successful at it. A copy will never be as good as the original. So a lot of times people are trying to do things that are not even meant for them to do. As always, I hope that this was helpful. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I love y'all. And I only say these things as a teaching moment because I see these things happening out in the world, and people normalize the unrighteous behavior that they do. And if you challenge them on it or question them about it, then they become a victim, or they throw the rock and hide their hand, or they become angry, right? Or they gaslight you. They try to flip it back around and, well, you did so-and-so. Because they don't want to take accountability and responsibility for the unrighteous ways, thoughts, and actions that they're exhibiting that they think will go unnoticed, or that they think no one will say anything about. But then if you distance yourself from that person, instead of saying something to them, then it's like, oh, well, you're resistant, or you're in your ego, or you think you're this and you think you're that, when that's not the case at all. Again, people don't like to be accountable and responsible for their unrighteous behaviors. And then they think because somebody's younger than them, or because somebody has a certain status or title, that they can't learn from this person. But we can learn from everyone, including an infant. No matter how old you are, no matter what station you're in life, you can learn from anybody if you're open to it. But if you're not open to it, when someone else is trying to teach you something and you feel that they're lower than you are, you will say that they're resistant, when in reality, you may be the one who's being resistant and in your ego. Love y'all. Later. Mwah.